Yeah, that wasn't the thing. It wasn't. People say that he lost $50 million. No, that's not even close to what happened to this dude. And until you understand what happened to the dude, you don't understand what happened. Like, no, not they offered him 50 million and he turned it down. Who gonna turn down 50 million? Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did.
Hey, Shalom, brothers. This is Brother Howard of GMS Toronto, coming back with another one. Hey, these people are literally just trying to control the truth, right? Because they tried to hide the truth. And because the truth has been exposed, because we're now in the time of revelation, right? And we are now lifting up the skirt of this great whore and all her wickedness through the power and spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, right? By taking off the blinders off of these people with light and taking them out of darkness. And now that the elites and the gatekeepers and the people that control information, because they know they no longer can control, they cannot hide the truth. I'm sorry. Now, because they figured out they cannot hide the truth anymore, they're trying to control the truth, right? And they're going to use our people and make them seem like they are woke, or like they are awakened, or like they are enlightened, or like they are illuminated. When none of these people are illuminated, they're still in darkness, because really and truly, he's not giving you any truth. He's actually misleading you. He's actually rocking you back to sleep. He's making you, because remember, there's way too much truth out there now for them to say that you're crazy. So they have to try and control the narrative. That's all that it is. It's just controlling the narrative. Right? Just like that TV show with that girl Olivia Pope. Can't remember the name of that show. Scandal. Right? Her job was to control the narrative. Right? No matter how bad the news that came out was, the truth. So truth would come out, and then her job was to control the narrative. Right? That's all they're doing now. But they're really and truly not giving you the truth, the 100% truth. And they're not telling you where to find the truth. Right? That's why when the brothers end these videos, we let you know. Right? We give all praises unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. We tell you double honors unto the elders and elder apostles of GMS who rule well and who teach well. Right? Letting you know where this truth came from. It started from the Heavenly Father, and it came all the way down onto the Son. Right? Which is where we get the Comforter. What is the Comforter? The Comforter is these words, and that Spirit, that Holy Spirit, is these words. And then it was given unto the elder apostles, all the way down onto the elders now, and then to the men that you see on the highways and the byways, such as myself, and then onto the younger brothers that you see pushing this word in righteousness. Right? That's where you get the truth from. You don't get the truth from these entertainers. These entertainers are sellouts. Cat Williams is a sellout. He's been sold out. Right? And these people deal with symbolisms. Right? And the first symbolism of this interview is his chain. Okay?
I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Can I need to know? You here, get your number.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Come on.
Because early on you was accusing me of being...
Cat, bad. Cat.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, but you know, some of these people...
Martin tried to put me in my first dress. When he had to go on his hiatus, he tell me...
See? This is the witch's wheel of the year. Right? He's letting you know that he is a witch. Right? Or that he is enlightened with the power of the wheel. Right? What is the wheel? Let's get it. So this is the Wiccan, the wheel of the year. And This is exactly what Cat Williams has around his neck. And that's why it also says woke, right? They have confused you people into thinking woke means that they are enlightened as to what's going on in the world, especially when it comes to racial issues and stuff like that. But them being woke is just being illuminated to the dark arts, right? Mainly when it comes to animal sacrifice, when it comes to certain ritualistic holidays like Yule or Samhain, which today we call Halloween, or May Day, which today we call May Day, right? Or Imbolc, which is Imbolc is which one? Groundhog Day. Imbolc is Groundhog Day, right? So you just have these old school pagan days that today, modern, we gave it a different name, right? But these are serious days when it comes to different Wiccans. Now, this is from Wikipedia, and it's Wheel of the Year. It says the Wheel of the Year is an annual cycle of seasonal festivals, right? Which is what the wheel represents. It represents a cycle that keeps going around and around and around, observed by a range of modern pagans, marking the year's chief solar events, so solstices and equinoxes, and midpoints between them. British neo-pagans crafted the Wheel of the Year in the mid-20th century, combining the 4 solar events, quarter days marked by many European peoples, with the 4 seasonal festivals, cross quarter days, celebrated by insular Celtic peoples. Different paths of modern paganism may vary regarding the precise timing of each celebration based on such distinction, such as lunar phase and geographic hemisphere, right? Because you have certain people that don't follow the wheel, right? They say the wheel clashes with ancient belief systems, right? With the different pagans. Now, if brothers look, they look at this image of Kevin Hart and his jacket, and this was from the Oscars. This was a few years back, and if you see on his right shoulder or his right arm, his left arm, he has the same symbol that Kevin Hart has, right? And remember, this is supposed to be his enemy, right? He called out Kevin Hart, said Kevin Hart is a plant, which I agree with him. Kevin Hart is a plant into the industry. You have many plants all throughout different fields. You have plants in politics. You have plants in the medical field. You have plants in the music world, in the athletic world. You have plants all over the different fields of work that push a certain type of agenda, right? And Kevin Hart is a plant in the comedy world to push a certain type of agenda, right? Now, this is Jay-Z, and Jay-Z has on the same jacket that Kevin Hart has on, right? Well, which is the same symbol that Cat Williams has on around his neck. So obviously there's a brotherhood going on. But what Cat Williams is forgetting to tell you is that he's a part of that brotherhood, right? Just like when, what's his name? Will Smith slapped Chris Rock in his face. That was just all a ritual. And this is a ritual as well, right? This is also a ritual. These men are all brothers. They're all in the craft together. And This is just a ritual to try to control the truth because they no longer are able to hide the truth.
January at Boston Pizza. This hiatus, he tell me, Cat, when I come back, I need you. You my young partner. You my.
See? So looking at, let me see if I can zoom in. Yeah, I can zoom in a little bit. I'll get his chain on Google as well. So if you can see, and his chain says woke, which it just simply means enlightened. All right. He's illuminated with knowledge of the dark arts. He's also enlightened with the knowledge of the Fendi. Right? What's the Fendi? As above, so below. Right? This is a sex ritual going on his jacket right now. Right? Just like the 69. Right? The two F's are doing the 69. It represents male and female. Right? That generative action. Right? Which is rebirth. Right? That's what it represents. But see, he has that same symbol that Kevin Hart had on his jacket and Jay-Z had on the jacket, which goes back to the Witch's Wheel of the Year. This is the Dharma wheel, or the Dharma chakra symbol in Buddhism. It says the Dharma wheel or Dharma chakra in Sanskrit is one of the oldest symbols of Buddhism around the globe. It is used to represent Buddhism in the same way that a cross represents Christianity, which is not true. The cross represents Tammuz, right? The same thing with the Buddha. The Buddha is a representation of Haru, right? Haru sat on the lotus flower. Same thing with Buddha, right? Buddha came out of the lotus as well, or Buddha sat upon the lotus flower. Or a Star of David represents Judaism. That is not true as well, right? That star is a representation of the of coming together of opposites, right? That's not a part of the scriptures. That's paganism, right? Those are two triangles. It says it is also one of the 8 auspicious symbols of Buddhism. Similar symbols are found in Jainism and Hinduism because they're the same thing, right? And it is likely that Dharma chakra symbol in Buddhism evolved out of Hinduism, yeah, which it did, which all of these belief systems came out of the ancient pagan belief system going back to the Babylonians. Now we scroll down. It says the spoke signifies different concepts depending on their number. When a wheel has 8 spokes, the spokes represents the 8-fold path. An 8-spoke wheel is the most common form of the wheel in Buddhism. Okay, let's go back to the image of Cat Williams. Now let's look at the image. So we have one spoke at the top, which the spoke at the top is holding, which is where the pendant begins, right? Then you have one spoke at the bottom, that's 2. Then when you look to the right side, you have 3 spokes, right? So that's 5 altogether. Then the other 3 spokes, which would be a perfect match to the right side, which would be on the left side, is going to be 3 spokes, which is going to be a representation of 8. So that's 8 spokes. Okay. Now this is what's his name? Kevin Hart, right? Wearing that jacket. Same thing. 1 spoke at the top, 1 spoke at the bottom, 3 on the side. The other side, we can't see the 3, but we know that it's an equal representation, right? It's an equal match. So that's 8 spokes altogether. So that's 8 spoke. Now this is Jay-Z. Jay-Z has the same exact jacket as Kevin Hart. 3 spokes on the side, 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom. We can't see the other 3 spokes, but we know that it's an equal representation. The same representation of that 3 is on the left is going to be the same exact representation on the right. So that's 8 in total. So back to the lesson, it says the spokes signify different concepts depending on their number. When a wheel has 8 spokes, the spokes represents the 8th fold path. So let's find out what the 8th fold path is. And this is the 8th fold path, the way to enlightenment in Buddhism, right? Which Buddhism is Luciferianism, right? Which, because it goes all the way back to the Babylonian mystery school system. It says the path comprises 8 teachings Buddhists follow in their everyday lives, by Barbara O'Brien, updated on January 21st, 2019. The 8th fold path of Buddhism is the means by which enlightenment. So when we see Cat Williams say woke, what does his woke represent? His woke represents enlightenment to Buddhism, aka Luciferianism. Okay? The 8th fold path of Buddhism is the means by which enlightenment or woke may be realized. The historical Buddha first explained the 8th fold path in his first sermon after his enlightenment. Most of the Buddha's teaching deal with some part of the path. You might think of it as an outline that pulls together all the Buddha's teachings. Okay? It says the 8th fold path is composed of 8 primary teaching that Buddhists follow and use in their everyday lives. Right view or right, understanding insight into true nature of reality. Right of intention, the unselfish desires to realize enlightenment. Right speech, using speech compassionately. Right action, using ethical conduct to manifest compassion. Right livelihood, making a living through ethical and non-harmful means. Right effort, cultivating wholesome qualities and releasing unwholesome qualities. Right mindfulness, whole body and mind awareness. Right concentration, meditation, or some other dedication concentrated practices. It says the word translated as right is samyanik, Sanskrit, or sama, Pali, which means wise, wholesome, skillful, and ideal. It also describes something that is complete and coherent. The word right should not be taken as a commandment, as in do this or you are wrong. Okay? Now I jump down a little bit. It says turning the Dharma wheel. Turning the Dharma wheel is a metaphor for Buddha's teaching of the Dharma in the world. In Mahayana Buddhism, it is said that the Buddha turned the Dharma wheel 3 times. The first turning was the sermon in the deer park, right? And that deer park was known as Ruru, right? And that deer also represents the stag, right? In that stag god is known as oh my gosh, what's the stag god's name? Cernunnos or Cernunnos, right? That was in the Celtic belief system, right? Also a representation of the goat, right? But in the Celts believed in the deer or the stag, the same thing that you see in Leave the World Behind. When you're watching that movie, Leave the World Behind, they have the stag god that the woman has to come face to face with. It says the first turn-in was a sermon in the deer park after, right? Because they believe in the woods, right? These are woodland gods, right? Just like Pan, right? When you go into the god Pan, he was a god of the woodlands, right? And a god of pederasty, right? Which means pedophilia, right? He liked little kids, right? That's also a representation of the goat. Pan is a representation of the goat, right? When you go into men like Kevin Hart, you always see Kevin Hart with the goat. What is he letting you know? He's letting you know that he's into what? He's into man-boy love, right? Just like Pan. Pan was into children, right? He also gifted Chris Rock with a goat. What is that a representation of? They keep telling you, oh, the goat represents greatest of all time. No. You have to understand that these people speak in symbolisms, and they're letting you know what they're into without telling you what they're into. You have to be enlightened, or you have to be woke to get the understanding of what they're saying to you without speaking with words. They're speaking to you with symbolisms. Okay? It says the Buddha's enlightenment here. The Buddha explained the Four Noble Truths. The second turn-in was the introduction of the perfection of wisdom, teachings on nature of sunyata, emptiness. The third turn-in was the introduction of the doctrine of Buddha nature, right? And you best believe, even though that this sounds good, this all has to do with witchcraft. All of this has to do with witchcraft, believe it or not. Now, I just wanted to show a quick image of Cat Williams in the hat, which represents the goat, right? He's letting you know that he is a part of the craft, right? He's an affiliate. Now, this is Chris Rock, this is Dave Chappelle, and this is Kevin Hart, right? All with the goat, right? It was Kevin Hart that gifted Chris Rock with the goat, right? And I think he's wearing a Christian chain or a cross, but that cross is just a representation of Tammuz, if that's what he's wearing. Right? But these three men have all sold out. They all have to show reverence unto the goat. Every single one of them. They can't make it to where they are unless they do that. Right? Which is just a belief system, which is letting you know what these men are into. Right? So is Cat Williams against these men? No. Well, for entertainment purposes, yes. Right? For entertainment purposes. Right? Just like the Chicago Bulls versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Right? Same thing. But at the end of the day, they're both Luciferians. The Chicago Bulls is a representation of the horn god. The Milwaukee Bucks is a representation of the horn god as well. Right? And at the end of the game, when they're done facing each other, they all are a part of the same association. Cat Williams, Kevin Hart, Will Smith, Chris Rock, they are all a part of the same association. They're all brothers. Wink, wink. That's why they wink with the eye. This is Proverbs 6, verse 9. How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as one that travelleth, and thy want as an armed man. A naughty person, a wicked man, walketh with a forward mouth. He winketh with his eye, he speaketh with his feet, he teacheth with his fingers. Right? So this is the world that we live in. We live in a world of symbolism. We live in a world where you have to understand certain winks, certain hand signs. Right? I did a lesson on the girl that did the Christian BBL. I don't even know her name, but the image that I put up on that lesson is her putting up the horns, right? Which represents the goat, right? Which represents the Baphomet, which represents a certain teaching of the coming together of opposites. So you have to understand what these people are into and what they're telling you without telling you. They're telling you that they're into animal sacrifice, child sacrifice, pedophilia. They're telling you that they're into all this wickedness without really telling you that they're into it. You have to understand what they've been enlightened with. So when you see somebody like a Cat Williams with a chain, with the 8 spokes, saying woke on it, you have to say to yourself, what is he enlightened with? What is he conveying to me? What is he saying? This is Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. And it says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." Okay? And for you to get up into those high places, you know what you have to do? This is Matthew chapter 4 and 1. "Then was Yahushua led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days, 40 nights, he was afterward an hungered. And when the tempter came to him, he said, If thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yahweh. Then the devil taketh him up into the holy city, and setteth him on a pinnacle of the temple, and said unto him, If thou be the Son of God, cast thyself down, for it is written, He shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone. Yahushua said unto him, It is written again, Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. Right? And a lot of people tempt the Most High. Right? To where you might think that, oh yeah, God got my back. The Most High protects me. And then you put yourself in certain situations. Don't tempt the Most High. The Most High will kill you. And that's what the Savior was saying. Verse 8, again, the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain, and sheweth him all the kingdoms of the world, and the glory of them, and saith unto him, All these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Right? So you cannot reach the pinnacles or the heights of this world, or the heights of money, or the heights of stardom and fame and all these things, unless you do what? Unless you fall down and worship the devil. Verse 10, Then saith Yahushua unto him, Get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, Thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve. Okay? And with that, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kadash. Double honors unto the elders and elder apostles of GMS that rule well and that teach well, and to the brothers on the four corners of the earth doing this work in truth and in sincerity. Shalom. Till next time. Kwam Yasharallah.